Willy Wonka at this point is now one of the most iconic cinematic characters in the history of Hollywood. He's a character that has the same esteem as somebody like the Joker, with now having three different iconic and very, very different performances of the character. I now want to take a step back and rank all three movies that this character is included in. This character that is both magical, charismatic, exciting, fun, and weird.
Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello.
Really, really weird. I'm gonna be ranking all three of these movies, and yes, I said three, because although Snowpiercer is most definitely a film that takes place after the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie, I am not going to consider that part of this list because Willy Wonka is not a character in it. But yes, it is a sequel to that movie. It has to be. You cannot convince me otherwise. And I do like all three of these movies, and I'm excited to talk about each and every one, and there might even be a hot take in this video, so here we go.
Chocolate memories.
The brand new film Wonka, directed by Paul King, I think is tremendous. It is one of the best holiday family movies we've had in a couple years. We don't really get too many movies like this around the holidays anymore. Movies that just the whole family can kind of sit around, bring the kids, and watch and enjoy. And here we go. This one is one of those types of movies. It's a really fun, enjoyable ride with an incredibly good performance from Timothée Chalamet as the titled role. Now, Timothy's performance in this movie is definitely supposed to be a younger version of the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory character. Of course, played by Gene Wilder, and Timothy kind of encapsulates all of the brilliance that Gene Wilder brings to that role. Maybe not matching it in any way, shape, or form, but doing his best to bring that same charisma, that same light, that same innocence to the character that we all love, but also the weirdness and the kind of out-there-ness that makes the character feel so different from anything in real life. Like, this guy is definitely a character. He's not a human being, but he does have a lot of aspects that make us feel that childhood warmth that we got from the original movie and that we get from the character. The movie does a good job telling a very basic yet entertaining story that, although is predictable and doesn't have the excitement and the overall nuance of the actual Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory story, that journey through the Chocolate Factory, it's still very, very entertaining, and it does manage to take, at least for me, it engaged me throughout its runtime. It has some fun supporting characters that all have kind of like a weird emotional journey throughout. It's got some pretty, stupid villains, generic villains that did make me laugh a lot. It's got an amazing score, a really good soundtrack, some really, really good new songs, and an ending that warmed my heart. And overall, yes, this is the worst of the three, because I just think the other two movies do something. They accomplish something in a charm and a feeling, a vibe that is just not really matched by anything, including this movie and a lot of other movies, and that's why I gotta rank them a little bit higher. But this movie is still spectacular.
Count to three. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
Now here's the hot take. I am ranking the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie at number 2. I'm not ranking it number 1, which is what I'm sure a lot of people would expect and how a lot of people would rank it. And I will get to the main reasons when I talk about number 1 in a couple minutes, but I will say Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is one of the best family, happy musical comedy movies that has ever been made. It is a timeless film that is absolutely tremendous in just about every way possible. The film tells the original doll's story in a very, very unique and fun way, building up to the whole Gene Wilder entrance as Willy Wonka, who is just so iconic in this role and brings this light to this character that makes him you want to meet him, but also you don't, because he's kind of just this crazy, weird dude, but he's so light and joyful and amazing. And from the first moment that they step into the Chocolate Factory and they sing the
We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation.
I mean, it's just so beautiful and iconic, and that whole scene and that vibe of the film just lasts throughout its entire runtime, and the turn at the end of the movie where Charlie wins and then gets taken away from him and it's the whole test thing is so beautiful, and the message of the whole thing is really just terrific. This is a movie that I will show my kids one day. It is a movie that is completely, and I've said it throughout already in this video, it is timeless. It is very, very perfect. It is amazing and unique. But yes, there is one film that I personally prefer a little bit more, and you're about to hear why. Now, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This is a movie I'm sure a lot of people might rank last on this sort of list, ranking these movies. But I'm going to explain to you why I absolutely love this movie. I like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory the most because it is fucking bonkers, man. This is a Tim Burton movie through and through, and if you know me, I am a very big Tim Burton fan. Tim Burton makes some of the most incredible movies we have to offer. He has a style that is so unique and amazing and so different than anything else being made in Hollywood. Pretty much all of his movies ooze that same vibe and themes and everything that you really want from a Tim Burton stuff, that darker kind of Victorian, but at the same time, like, emo, you know what I mean when I say a Tim Burton movie. You get the vibe. And this movie is no different, both in its practicality with its sets and its visual effects, but also with the characters. We now get a new version of Willy Wonka in this film, played by Johnny Depp, in a performance that I think is so underrated. It's not even funny. I mean, come on, this guy doesn't even look like Johnny Depp. It honestly took me years as a kid to figure out that this was indeed the same guy that played Jack Sparrow. Like, that's incredible to me still. I think Willy Wonka in this movie is amazing. Yes, he is so different from Gene Wilder's character. He is not a guy that I really want to meet. He's a very creepy, terrifying weirdo, but at the same time, you can't look away from him. Everything he does, every word he says, it's so unique and fun and hilarious and terrifying and completely what I would want from a Tim Burton Willy Wonka. And the overall story here, although it does follow pretty beat for beat kind of the original Willy Wonka story, it does follow, you know, Charlie getting the golden ticket, going into the factory, the tour, the kids one by one getting eliminated, pretty much in the same exact way. The music is very different, you know, and I did kind of like some of the songs here, some of them I didn't. There's no really heartfelt, beautiful song like in the Willy Wonka film, but all of the singing things with the Oompa Loompas, I still love them. You know, maybe I'm just nostalgic because I watched this movie a ton as a kid, but I love all of those scenes. I love the vibe I get from the Oompa Loompas singing as these kids are like terrified and screaming and scared, like there's something so terrible but beautiful about it. And as the film builds up into its finale, I think a lot of what works about this movie is just the style of Tim Burton. Like the recreating of like 2001: A Space Odyssey with the TV room was just tremendous. And the flying elevator and like different things like that. Even just Charlie's little home, you know, this home that he lives in with his grandparents and his mom, you know, the poor home. There's just such a vibe to it, to the production design of that home, that is just so unique, and I love it. But yet again, what makes this movie work completely for me is Johnny Depp's performance. It is so unforgettable, and I know a lot of people hate it. They think it's too much, it's too over the top, it's too weird, it's too creepy, but you cannot deny that it is unforgettable what he does in this movie and what this character does. It is just so entertaining, and it makes this movie so rewatchable. And this is what, like, if you're going to make a remake of a film or a retelling, I would much prefer something like this, where it's like, it's completely different character-wise than the Gene Wilder stuff, where Gene Wilder was a little weird, but still had this charisma and this hopefulness to him, this lightness, where you just can't help but hate, but to love him. Well, now we have this guy who's just so fucked up mentally. This guy is completely fucked. He's got daddy issues. I mean, you have Saruman as his dad, and he's just like this douchebag, and then like they come together at the end, and it's really kind of sad and emotional for some reason. Like, it's just a complete 180 on the character and a completely different take on it, and I love it. And maybe that's just me, and I cannot wait to see if people don't, you know, kind of disagree with me in the comments. But go ahead, let me know in the comments, because that's the video, and I hope you guys like it. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and all that stuff. Click the video on your screen right now, and I will see you in the next one.